And along with that is making sure that your systems are up to date. Now, I'm not talking about updated in the software side of things. I'm not talking about from a hardware perspective. Are they modern? Are they the current version of that hardware that's been released? Okay, so you've got a desktop, you've got laptops out in your fleet. You may be responsible for 100 staff members or 10,000 staff members. They're all running Dell or Lenovo or Macs or whatever it may be. Are they running computers that are up to date, that are at least 3 years old to 5 years old maximum? If they're older than that, replace them. Get rid of the old ones, upgrade them to new computers. It's generally good practice, sort of like an industry standard, that you're going to be replacing equipment every 3 to 5 years. The reasons for this is that equipment, as you know, technology, keeping up to date, changes very, very quickly. So hardware gets out of date very quickly. Hardware could go end of life. Sometimes vendors will say, I'm not going to support that product anymore because it's now end of life. So you now need to go and replace that hardware. We talked about servers, we talked about desktops. This is also true for all your infrastructure, your servers, your storage, your networking devices. They have a lifespan. Good practice to try to replace your stuff 3 to 5 years. Okay, your UPSs, 3 to 5 years. The batteries run out on those things, so make sure you are replacing them. Now, sometimes it's not always practical. Sometimes it's not always possible. And it's expensive. I know it's expensive, but it's sometimes more expensive if one of your core systems goes down because it's running an old firmware that can no longer be upgraded because it's now end of life. Dell no longer supports this particular piece of hardware, so now we need to go and upgrade it. So remember to keep your software, your hardware up to date. So it is expensive, but it is worth it. Now, the other thing, of course, is by replacing old hardware, you're going to be buying new hardware that is faster, that is more reliable. So you may potentially have less outages, and your staff may actually be more happy. Your customers may actually be more happy because they're getting better performance out of the systems because they're running faster. There's always benefits, but yes, there is the downside of the cost. You'll have to be able to justify why. 3 to 5 years, replace that hardware and keep your hardware up to date when possible.